So I'm kind of slightly familiar with the situation with Infinity Nikki. Apparently, the devs really dropped the ball, okay, with this game. Big drama, big disaster.
Infinity Nikki is a dress-up gacha game, typically tailored towards a female demographic, which isn't to say men can't play the game as well.
What the hell, dude? This isn't for me? You're telling me I won't look good in a dress? What the
But since its inception, there's always been high standards set for Infinity Nikki. It's kind of the first of its genre in the gacha space. They were
No, it does seems like it appeals to sort of like the girly dress-up Sims like genre, right? Like where you play with outfits and like color combinations, stuff like that. Like I get it, you know. Not really a game that I would be like jumping the gun for. Not my type of game, but I can see why there's an audience for it, for sure. There's definitely an audience for this type of game. But you play Warframe.
fill in a gap that's existed for a really long time, because if we're being honest here, typically gacha games are tailored towards a more male demographic. I mean, you have characters like this, but
yeah,
Infinity Nikki was tailored
that's a man's game right there.
Towards people that want to dress up the main protagonist, and I really do mean truly amazing clothing. The amount of effort that went into creating these designs is nothing short of astounding, but over the course of the last month or so, something catastrophic has happened, and the game's and developers' reputation has been tarnished, possibly beyond repair. Let me explain. A few weeks before the latest 1.5 update dropped, Infold, the developers or publishers of Infinity Nikki, announced something really cool that a lot of gacha games do, and it's basically like a pre-registration reward list. The game was coming to Steam, so they wanted to get a certain amount of pre-registers on the platform. Everybody was going to get a free 10 pull when the game reached 100,000 wish lists.
Wait, I actually want to see this. Are they still, how are they doing now? It's on Steam too, right? Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro. 38%. Eliza's playing Withering Waves. As someone who played this game since the original release back in December, the most recent patch has outright ruined the game for me. Okay, so people are not happy about this. So lazy. We get so lazy at our age. But this game perfectly represents how corporate greed can ruin a game. Oh yeah, people are not happy, bro. So folks clearly not happy about the state of Nikki. It's a disaster. They're saying it's a literal disaster.
They hit their goal of 100,000. They changed the rewards from a 10 pull to 2 measly pulls. Said that they were saving the 10 pull for a higher target and completely and utterly forgot about the surprise reward. Obviously,
I like that. So they're like, yo, we got a sick reward for you guys if we hit 200,000. And they did. And then they're like, oh.
A boycott definitely ensued, and people were rightfully complaining. I mean, they were lied to. The company backtracked pretty much instantly and gave away 20 pulls for the wish lists. But if this was the only thing—
Wait, what did they say? First and foremost, I'd like to extend our sincerest apologies. I received a lot of feedback. Overall game. Okay, so just yapping about nothing, I guess.
But if this was the only thing that went wrong, it might not be so bad. But it's not. There's more. A lot more. At the end of April, the 1.5 update dropped, and it's only been 5 months since the official release of the game. And to say this update destroyed the absolute core foundation of the game would be an understatement.
Ooh.
Not only did the promise of co-op, coloring outfits, and a miracle outfit that would be available always for free really excite players, but it's also one of the biggest reasons they were incredibly let down.
Okay, this guy was pissed about this.
The ability to recolor outfits is something I would personally be incredibly excited about, but unfortunately players were left with a really bad taste in their mouth after what happened with this update. The second you load into the game, you don't really get to experience these newfound improvements because you get thrown straight away into a retconned main story.
I wonder why they changed the plot. So they had like a different storyline going into the game, and then they're like, no, was there bad feedback or something? Did people just like not like the original story? More eyes on it? I mean, I guess, like, is it really going to change that much?
Hey Alex, been a long time YouTube fan. Happy to see the uploads return. Just curious, what's your barber's real job?
Yeah, you're done.
But what made it even worse is the fact that the story itself that was put into the game for this retcon really just wasn't put together very well and wasn't that good. People were left with more questions than answers, more confused than ever. Even things like game mechanics aren't really intuitively explained in the new tutorial. The reason I could find out for the game actually going this direction was to make the co-op make sense.
I mean, a retcon's a retcon's a retcon. It just feels weird. She forgot everything. Okay, so if the story was too linear, then co-op wouldn't make sense. That's so silly though. Why do they care about that? Like retcons just seem like a last option. I guess I'm trying to think of the perspective, like imagine if you were playing Genshin or just like any game that's like live service and like you had an intro and you're like, oh, this game's about this. And then the next time you load it into it, all of that's gone. Like Destiny 2, where they just removed the entirety of the Red War and then we're like, just forget that happened. I could see why people would be unhappy with that, especially for a game that's just so new to like retcon their intro 5 months into service. In fact, if anything, it just makes you feel like you're undecisive about the direction of the game. And I, as a consumer, would lose a lot of confidence and faith that you're going to treat this IP well. Maybe I'm foreshadowing where the rest of this goes.
I think the entire story retcon just needs to be reverted back to what it was. But the retcon isn't the only problem with the 1.5 update. It's just the beginning. A massive amount of players couldn't even load into the game with this brand new update. And as of recording this, like a week and a half to 2 weeks after, people still can't. For some, the game kicks you out without you even being able to move an inch. For others, the game's lagging more than modded Minecraft on a Samsung smart fridge. Controls can just seize up and stop working. Photos are getting deleted. Friends are getting deleted.
When your photos and friends are getting deleted. Maybe that's the real story of Infinity Nikki. Maybe we didn't realize it.
Quests are getting locked, missing voices, some even missing cutscenes, which if you do miss the cutscene, by the way, it can soft lock you entirely out of the story.
God.
And this includes the tutorial, so brand new players that are just joining Infinity Nikki are getting soft locked in the tutorial and not even able to play the damn game.
Tencent entities lose billions in stock value after China sets strict limits on video game monetization, bans gacha mechanics from young players. Ooh. You mean you can't farm preteens for cash? Introduced a new law that restricts gaming time to be limited to 3 hours per week for people under the age of 18. Wait, how? That's crazy. What do you do with those 3 hours? You can play Minecraft in the coal mine.
In the 1.5 update, they actually increased the number of items per set from 10 to 11, which is hilarious because it's actually socks that can't even be seen under the dress. But it does mean it's an extra 20 pulls that you've got to spend to get the full outfit. Now, this...
Dude, the set bonus comes with socks that you can't see. Yikes. Is it a set bonus, I assume? Like, if you don't have the socks, then it's like an L? Like, you gotta pull for the socks, right? You gotta get the socks.
4 color versions of every 5-star outfit in Infinity Nikki. You get the first one just by getting the full outfit, the second for pulling 180 times, and the third for pulling 230 times.
Ooh.
The fourth you can only get by pulling like you did for the first one, so that can take up to 400 pulls to get the full color outfit. I just want you to be...
Ooh! You put a little citation, it was 600 USD.
I mentioned earlier that players were able to trial run the clothes dyeing thing in a previous event. So you could go collect resources from the open world and then like create the dyeable colors and change any outfit piece using that just by exploring the game. Now that the feature's been permanently added, you can't do that anymore. The materials aren't farmable. You can get them from like limited time rewards and events, but otherwise, guess how you have to get them? By spending money. But it doesn't stop there. If you do unlock a color palette, it's not even for the full set of clothing. It's for one item. So you could...
It's like the worst part of every gacha, but just somehow double or nothing.
I mean, this could cost thousands, hundreds of thousands one day when they start adding more and more of these outfits into the game. As you can probably imagine, the community is kind of devastated with...
So it's like an easy grand for an outfit with like all the colors you want, right? One dress, 1,000. That's like a real life, really nice dress. Holy smokes, dude.
And a lot of people are trying to boycott and hit the company where it hurts, wallet. But we've seen this happen so many times before. I don't know if you all have seen the catastrophic downfall of Genshin Impact before, where people tried to boycott and it did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because Genshin gamers suck at boycotts, dude. They're like, yo, there's an insane level of predatory monetization with this next banner, which I'm going to pull for, but I'm not happy about it. Maybe boycott works here. I mean, 5 months in, they're already boycotting the game. Is like kind of crazy, you know? 5 months in, and you're already pissed off your consumer base. Is your target demo just rich people that don't care about the controversy or the state of the game, I guess? I mean, there's plenty of those, certainly. I mean, we saw it with Diablo Immortal. There's not a lack of stupid people with a lot of money.
Because people still played the game and still spent money on the game while saying that they wanted to boycott. But in the official forums of Infinity Nikki, any messages that are talking about boycotting the game...
Infinity Nikki community plans girl caught after developers mutes boycott on ongoing update 1.5 drama. Ooh, they hit him where it hurts. They muted boycott. They said no. So then girl caught, hashtag girl caught.
Which has caused players to, and I find this funny, but they started calling it a girl caught,
That's pretty
which
funny.
obviously didn't fix anything, but it is kind of hilarious. So basically they've acknowledged their problems, and
They call him Dear Stylist.
seems like they're trying to enforce belief in the community that they're going to fix the problems and start listening to feedback a little bit more. And don't get me wrong, some of the bugs have already been fixed. Over 100 to be exact, which is mind-blowing that they were over 100 bugs. They obviously gave out free pulls, but this is very standard for a gacha game apology at this point. And honestly, the players are really not receiving this apology letter very well at all, and I can totally see why. It feels tone-deaf, and like that most of the important feedback points just weren't listened to and was barely addressed.
Yeah, I mean, not really surprising, I guess. Yeah, they're either making bank or they're like oblivious to how much bad press the game has gotten, or they're aware of the bad press, but again, it's not impacting their bottom line. So why address those issues? Just give them some free pulls and carry on.
There's now a brand new bug as of like 10 hours ago from this recording, where Infinity Nikki are reverting people's wishes.
Yo, new bug just dropped. You lost all of your pulls.
I'm serious, look at the official Reddit here. They said, I'm gonna cry. I put money into the game. Not much, it was like 20 euros, but even so, I didn't make any refund and I was saving spins, and when I entered, I got this. I'd already seen many problems with the game, but it's already a disappointment. I wanted to give it a chance because of its aesthetic and design.
Bro, how do you get a bug where just you have... Wait, she's in gacha pull debt. She has negative... She has minus 10 pulls on her account. How does that even work? How do you... You owe them pull. You owe them pulls. You owe somebody else pulls on your account. Like, dude, I can't. I gotta work off my pulls today. What do you mean? Well, see, normally I would have pulls for this new dress, but it turns out I actually owe them pulls. So I gotta work a double at least to get that 20 euros back into it. I'm in gacha debt.
Even so, I want to recover what I lost. You can see at the top right of this image, they have negative 1955 pulls and a negative 10 pull as well. Gravelord Nito, great name by the way, Dark Souls 1 OG, said the game's bugging out for many people where they're losing diamonds and crystals randomly without pulling.
Gravelord Nito is playing Infinity Nikki. I don't...
Game of this type, this is one of the worst things that can happen, and it's basically you paying for something that you can't use. I've never seen any other gacha have this kind of problem, especially since that's how they make money. Now, I have seen gachas have this kind of problem before, but typically it's fixed really, really quickly, so I'm really hoping the Infinity Nikki devs can get on this very fast.
I don't think they're gonna get on this fast. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they care. I don't know why, but I do have a feeling.
But having good gacha games out there breeds excellence and competition in the industry, and I really just don't want the
How do you have no competition and you manage to piss off everybody?
But to say this update's obliterated the reputation that Infinity Nikki held for a while would be a massive understatement, and we can only sit by and watch the fireworks as things hopefully change in the future.
Okay, so this was the how one update ruined this gacha game reputation by brand. So there was an update. There was in fact a response. I wanted to watch that video, but I wanted to provide some context. There's a girl or a creator named Sarasness that made a video, much like the one that we watched, that sort of addressed the earlier allegations or the earlier, I guess, issues that Infinity Nikki was having. But I guess the devs responded to all of the ongoing drama, and this creator did a response to the response, and they also had put out a video that actually did very well. Their video on this topic actually, like, I want to say, kind of went viral. It has over more than 500,000 views, and they're like not like a big creator. Like they're definitely like a decent sized creator, but not like, I don't think their videos normally get like 500,000 views. You know what I mean? So, anyways, they have a video that I was gonna watch called "The Infinity Nikki Devs Finally Made a Statement." It's not very good.
So the Nikki devs finally made a statement. It's been a long 3 weeks since the version 1.5 update dropped, and 2 weeks since I made my first video about the issues. It feels like it's been longer. Infold's silence has been deafening, especially because as time passed, even more widespread issues came to light. But at the same time, it seemed impossible that they would completely ignore it. That would have been the worst thing they could do. Now that they've finally spoken up, let's see whether they've actually addressed any of the problems this time.
Okay, so we finally addressed it.
If you want to understand the context, please go watch my previous video first. I won't.
Okay, and the video that we just watched sort of outlines all the context that her video on this subject already covered.
Before the update, there was the wishlist issue where they tried to rug pull the rewards, though at least that one was addressed at the time. The original opening to the game was deleted and replaced with a confusing mess. Most people consider that a retcon, though some are adamant that it doesn't count. The game also had an insane number of game-breaking bugs, with many people unable to log in, many others effectively unable to play, and pretty much everyone experiencing broken UIs, stuttering, and other constant minor bugs. My fancy fireworks dress is still broken, and customer service has ignored my messages.
Damn.
The monetization changes were awful too. The dying feature turned out to be stupidly expensive, the new outfits increased the gacha pity by 20 pulls, and they also introduced the purchasable bathtub with a fake discount label, which is
Soak away your fatigue and worries. Get the bathtub, all your problems will go away. Just get the bathtub, spend 20 bucks.
and fun.
Okay, so she's saying that the minus 79% is like illegal. It's like faking a price hike, you know? Like it was normally 50, but now it's 9.99. So in her country, I guess you're not allowed to do that legally. Which also, like, how do you dictate what the price of a virtual bathtub even is? The most predatory FOMO. It's like elementary levels of predatory monetization. Like, what's the easiest way to incentivize a person to spend money? Give them a fake discount for a limited time. It'll expire in 35 days. If they don't spend 10 bucks now, they'll never get this bathtub.
And finally, they reduced the frequency of the endgame rewards. This particular complaint was addressed in
Is it like a stuffed cat or something?
their initial apology, mostly, though it still provides a
Okay, it's a
little
doll?
less than
Oh,
had been
okay.
promised at first.
Few ways we can keep the girl cot going strong. Unfollow them. Speak up in the comments. Leave honest negative reviews. Limit your gameplay. Only play as much as you absolutely need to. Collect diamonds if you have the battle pass and use up your energy, but avoid engaging with the new patch. The original term was banned. Yeah, I guess they banned the term on Reddit or something. I don't really know. They started banning people saying boycott. Shake up a bubble jar. Get 880 rubies if you buy now.
Not announced in advance. Many people were upset because they had just.
Wait, so there are apologies to give you a battle pass you buy?
In version 1.4, there was some
Dude, we're sorry, man. Here's a battle pass that you can buy right now, and you can get some extra gems.
time-limited bundles people could buy at a discount, a real one this time, which were due to expire when the version changed. So many who enjoyed the game decided to go ahead and stock up in anticipation of the new content.
Oh my god, dude. It's like around every corner, these poor Infinity Nikki players are just getting every chance. It's like, dude, this is so bad. I feel so bad.
After the update, with the sudden reveal of the extra rewards for spending, all those people had to either spend more or miss out on those extra rewards from the new spending event.
Oh my god, bro. So they got screwed over for spending money because they didn't spend the money at the right time. It's not a one-to-one currency. It's like a currency for just the event. That is so awful, bro.
If they had known in advance, they may have decided to hold back on their purchases for a
So they didn't even know about this. They spent money. Then they're like, hey, there's a limited time battle pass that's using a different type of currency. Oh my god. They didn't even announce it.
but instead we were kept in the dark. It's hard to see any way to interpret this as anything other than cynical greed on the part of Infold. The idea that they might have added this event without advanced planning just doesn't seem realistic, and by not announcing the event they created this situation where some people will feel compelled to spend more than they had originally intended. Much more concerning than either of them.
Wait, are you guys doing the sleeping emote because of the cat? Is it because... Look at the foot.
The currency disappearing from people's accounts. This first started happening due to a bug which allowed people to collect more of one currency from the new area, which was supposed to be available in limited amounts per day. This currency is used to unlock the miracle outfit and was time-gated so that it should take months to collect all the pieces. Some
Okay.
people encountered a bug which let them collect the daily rewards twice, though they had no idea it was a bug until Infold immediately released the patch which fixed that issue and removed the extra currency they had collected, even if it put their
Bro's in daily debt. He's in daily debt. It says -2. They were quick to fix this though. Yo, they get all these other bugs, but they were quick to fix the daily time gated buys. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh because of how sad this is. This is so effing sad, bro. How does it just keep getting worse? Dude, the Infinity Nikki players might be the most punished gacha community I've ever seen. Like, I don't care what anyone ever says. Their favorite gacha or the community state that their gacha is in. If you look at the Infinity Nikki, the Infinity Nikki players that are in daily debt, they're in gem debt, the dies they're buying aren't working, they're being soft locked out of playing the game, and the developers are just saying, yo, we're sorry, here's a limited time battle pass.
Even if it puts their balance into negatives. Funny to see their priorities there. Shortly afterwards,
He's
people start...
actually I thought it just said -2 for the gems they lost. This person is -18 starlight debt. Dude, a hug costs 180. They can't even... they can't buy a discounted yay. I can't afford a hug. I'm in debt. I'm negative dailies, bro. It should never be negative. I don't care what bug they encounter. You should never have a negative number next to your daily currency. What are you talking about? That means they have to log in for extra days just to work off their debt. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Shortly afterwards, people started reporting...
This fucking thing just looks at you. This thing named Vinny. Hey, did you do your dailies? You owe us a lot of starlit points. You better get out there and start working away, missy. Sorry, I'm like lightheaded. I feel so bad. I don't mean to laugh at them. I'm laughing at how what does this even mean? Enslaved gooner moment. I've never seen those words combined ever in my life. What does that mean? We're only like halfway through this, and I've already lost my mind twice, man. How can it possibly get worse?
There's no way for me to tell whether these posts were caused by an actual bug or...
-5K, what? I was a free-to-play player. Well, now you're in debt.
But there were many people claiming this happened to them, often despite being free to play, or just not having spent it all on the recent banner. While Infold were ignoring the outcry, they did continue posting promotional content on their social media. Photo challenges, for example, where players submit photos in the hopes of winning prizes. Obviously, those kinds of things will be run by people whose entire job is to handle marketing, but it just...
Yeah, I mean, it's just like different branches. You got like the marketing branch, you got the developers, and you got like management and stuff, management higher ups, you know. The marketing interns that are probably also in debt aren't, you know, they're not the ones that can do anything about like this situation, other than maybe telling the higher ups, yo, we put out this sick banner contest and everyone told us to go die. Should we be worried about that? Give them 10 free pulls.
And in addition, while players were actively leaving negative reviews on places like Steam, tanking the game's score, many spotted some really suspicious reviews. Even with just a cursory investigation, it was very clear these were bot accounts paid to give a positive review to prevent the score from plummeting further. Not a good look at all.
There's bot reviews, okay. They gotta fight back the mass brigading.
And finally, there has been ongoing concern about how all of the technical issues have impacted people who bought the monthly Diamond subscription. They increase engagement and build up the habit of logging in daily.
Right.
Many people had an active subscription, but...
So that's pretty standard. The $5, like I have a few of those. And those are just like you log in, you get extra primo gems, extra currency. You'll get like half of a pull every day, basically, is the idea. And those are usually kind of worth it, because at the end you end up getting like, what, 15, 20 pulls after a month. And maybe sometimes there's bonuses and stuff like that they give you. So $5 for like a pass, I think is usually fine. I don't really have issues with $5 passes for games like that, because at the end of the day, if you're playing the game a lot, $5 for a game you play a lot isn't bad. But I'm wondering how they messed this up.
But were unable to log in because the game was so utterly broken. They reached out to Infold's customer support, asking for confirmation that once the issues were fixed, anyone who had missed out on their diamonds would be compensated. In recent days, customer service finally replied and said that this was not going to happen, and that if...
Oh my god. So basically they couldn't log in, they bought the $5 pass, they couldn't log in to get their $5 pass, and support hit them back with, sorry for the late reply. Anyway, you can't log in, you can't collect your rewards. That sucks. It's not compensable. Compensable? Please log in on another device as soon as possible the next time you experience a situation. Thanks. Have you tried logging in?
This is also likely illegal in some countries. The subscription counts as a contract, and if Infold are unable to provide the service that the customer has purchased, it is on them to fix that, not...
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I think they definitely would win a court case for that. Like if the service was unprovidable, but they have to prove that the service is unprovidable with their like receipts. Like they would have to say, yes, the service was unavailable for these specific regions. If you're paying for a service and they can't provide you the service, and then therefore you don't get parts of the service, right? Then you should definitely be able to get your money back or have some case. Now, will people pursue it for $5? Probably not.
Many people don't have another device which could run the game, so this response is unacceptable.
We're actually aware that these recent issues have impacted your experience and damaged the trust and affection you place in us. To all stylists, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
Was in coalition with Labour.
We're sorry.
And finally, they did announce some extra compensation. 120 diamonds per day for 8 days. 8 pulls. Not even a full 10 pull. Personally, I don't care all that much about...
So their compensation to you for all of this, we're so fucking sorry. Here's what we can do. If you play every day for the next 8 days, you'll almost have enough for 10 pulls. And that's from the bottom of our effing heart. That's coming from us. So you're giving us less than half of shoes. Yes, we're sorry. Forgive us. Log in every day for 8 days. Not even at once, by the way, which is really strange. To not drop the currency all at once, to make you play every day to get their sorry package. I know, man, at this point, if people are so adamant about staying to this game that I think they sort of like this treatment. So keep in mind, these are the types of players that play The Sims. And so they're used to this level of punishment from EA. In fact, this is probably a breath of fresh air, the fact that they're even talking to them afterwards. Most of the time, EA just does it and then doesn't even bother calling back. I think the genre by design is made for making money, and these people will pay it no matter what. Well, yeah, I mean, this was a money printer. The issue is this company wasn't satisfied with how much money they were printing and wanted to print even more. The beatings will continue until people spend more money.
This long overdue announcement was, unfortunately, inadequate.
They're going to say sorry and give you three pulls over the course of 5 days if you log in regularly.
There's a huge gulf between...
We're so sorry you violated the FTC guidelines of the United States and the European Union. Here's 2 free pulls. New battle pass next week.
I also continue to find it a bit annoying that they're communicating this as from the dev team. This is a leadership issue, and the management themselves should take ownership and discuss this publicly. Sadly, there's clearly nobody there who can hold them accountable.
Nope.
I guess it's up to fans to keep protesting, to keep raising awareness, and to keep demanding that the company change their ways. If they keep ignoring us, then sadly, this game will not last much longer.
Jesus, dude. That is a yikes.